Welcome back. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on NewsX. On the occasion of his 90th birthday, Tibetan spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama, Tenzin Gyatso, has shared a message of gratitude, urging people to practice compassion, human values and religious harmony. Describing himself as just a simple Buddhist monk who does not celebrate birthdays, the Dalai Lama acknowledged global celebrations in his honor and appreciated efforts focused on altruism, kindness and peace. The Dalai Lama also said he doesn't usually celebrate birthdays for himself, but appreciates when such occasions are used to encourage acts of kindness and compassion. Hundreds of followers have come together to celebrate the Dalai Lama's birthday in Himachal Pradesh's Dharamshala. To celebrate the Dalai Lama's birthday, provide offerings, also to take his blessings. Leaders from across the world have wished the Dalai Lama on his birthday, from the former US President Barack Obama, who called him the youngest 90-year-old he knows, to the current US Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Prime Minister Modi also, of course, shared his greetings on the occasion. PM Modi noted, and I quote, "I join 1.4 billion Indians in extending our warmest wishes to His Holiness the Dalai Lama on his 90th birthday. He has been an enduring symbol of love, compassion, patience and moral discipline. We pray for his continued good health and long life," quote unquote. Well, joining us now on the broadcast is Yudon Okatsang, Tibetan MP, Tenzin Pasang, National Director, Students for Free Tibet, is also joining us now live. Dorji Seton, member of Tibetan Parliament in Exile and Asia Program Manager, Tibet Action Institute, is live with us. Acharya Yeshi Phonsok, former Deputy Speaker, Tibetan Parliament in Exile, also joins us live. Dr. Tenzin Sunju, independent research scholar, also is joining us live. Tenzin Sunju, Tibetan writer and activist, is with us on the broadcast as well. Appreciate all of you being with us live on this big story. Let me make a start with you first, Yudon Okatsang. How important is such a day to remember, of course, the values that the Dalai Lama has stood for, and also the philosophy that he's tried to espouse to all those who follow Buddhism? Yudon, can you hear me? Okay, I think we're having some connection issues with Yudon. But Tenzin Pasang is live with us as well. Tenzin, if you're able to hear me, let me begin by asking you about how important this occasion is to celebrate and commemorate the Dalai Lama's 90th birth anniversary. What is the message you'd like to send out to all those celebrating today?
Hi, Tashi Dilek, Namaste. So today we celebrate His Holiness Dalai Lama's 90th birthday, and it is a very proud and auspicious moment for us because His Holiness has done very incredible work. He spent his life promoting peace and compassion to the world, and he has done incredible work in creating a solid foundation for us Tibetan in our culture, in our identity, and even in our movements. And we will continue to work forward and follow his footsteps. He established the Tibetan democracy. He gifted democracy for the Tibetan people. He built the schools, which I have studied in the Tibetan Children Village TCV, and which I have studied, I got educated from. And he also built monasteries, nunneries, where we could sustain and keep Tibetan identity alive, keep our culture and religion alive. And to the world, he has all his life he has promoted the message of peace and compassion, and so His Holiness means a lot to us. He's as a father figure for me personally. Yes, so we really I'm very honored to celebrate his 90th birthday today.
Yes, Acharya Yeshi Phonsok, what is your message on the Dalai Lama's birthday today? You know, as far as, of course, what do you make of the wishes which have come in as well? Former President of America Barack Obama, Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi, current US Secretary of State Marco Rubio. These are the host of dignitaries sending in messages for Dalai Lama, which shows, of course, how important he is for Tibetans, Buddhists across the world, but also for world leaders. Acharya Phonsok, yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
It is a very great and auspicious days for the Tibetan community in and outside, and not only the Tibetan community, but His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama ji is become a universal spiritual and religious leader. So therefore, the global leader has giving best wishes and congratulations on the occasions of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama's 90th birth celebration. Because His Holiness Dalai Lama's contribution is not only the Tibetan movement, but His Holiness' contribution on the global level for the purpose of the peace and harmony, and then the non-violence and the universal peace and compassion. His Holiness has contributed from the age of the 24 in the beginning of the exile till today for the universal as one of the Nobel laureates, among the various Nobel laureates, His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama ji has contributed for the peace of the universal. His Holiness has huge contribution for the global peace. And then His Holiness Dalai Lama's contributions for the preservation, protection, promotions of the Indian, the rich cultural, the Nalanda tradition, Nalanda cultural, and then thirdly, His Holiness has always mentioned, always taught, being a Tibetan and being a Tibetan spiritual leader, the faith from the in and outside Tibet, how to resolve the Tibet issue through the dialogue and negotiations with the Chinese leader. So therefore, today here in Delhi, there is too many programs on the occasions of the 90th birth anniversary celebrations, celebrating not only the celebrations, but also we have here, the Tibet House has organized 2 panel discussions, non-Tibetans, intellectuals, various religious scholars.
And not just Delhi, Acharya Funsok, but across the
on
world, people are celebrating today. Across the world, people are celebrating, Dr. Laskebas. Let me bring you in here, Dr. Laskebas, on, of course, what do you make of these global wishes as well? They show the global standing of the Dalai Lama. These wishes, of course, will not be appreciated by China at all. But, former US presidents, Indian Prime Minister, Secretary of State of the US, these wishes show the global standing of the Dalai Lama, isn't it, Dr. Tenzin? Also, what is your message on this occasion today?
First of all, I would like to thank NewsX for giving us this opportunity. And as rightly mentioned by all the previous speakers, so I'm from Ladakh. And in Ladakh today, as always, we have been celebrating His Holiness Dalai Lama's birthday. We have a designated place where everyone gathers and celebrates this, wonderful time together. Now, as you mentioned it rightly, we are a part of this, border state, Himalayan, region of India, and we are deeply connected from the point of religious, and cultural sense, and that I would not shy away from, saying that, our a part of our large, philosophical, living, culture is shared with Buddhist philosophy, which has been propagated or promoted by none other than His Holiness Dalai Lama. So in that sense, it is very important and to celebrate this occasion. And as you see, the current, geopolitical churning as well, it is very important to also, make a stand, on to say how important this occasion is. And in Ladakh, we have recently declared July as the month of compassion by Ladakh Autonomous Hill Council Development. And this is a big thing for us to really, join this celebration. Yeah.
Okay. Let me get in Tenzin Sunju as well. Tenzin, what stood out for you in the Dalai Lama's address today, in the Dalai Lama's message on his 90th birthday? What stood out for you? What were your main takeaways that you believe are very important for all of us to note and imbibe as well, perhaps? Tenzin Sunju, can you hear me? Tenzin, are you there with us? Okay, I think we've lost his connection. All right, let me attempt to get in also now on the broadcast another guest who has joined us now. I believe Dorji Setin is back with us on the broadcast now. Dorji Setin, let me quickly draw you in here now into this discussion on, of course, the Dalai Lama's 90th birthday, the message that you would like to send out on this occasion, and also, Dorji, according to you, of course, what stood out for you in the Dalai Lama's address? Dorji Setin, can you hear me? Okay, unfortunately, I think we're having some technical trouble there. Acharya Phuntsok, let me draw you back in here. Acharya Phuntsok, do we have any idea, though, through this entire week-long exercise in these meetings also that have happened, on the succession plan of Dalai Lama as well? Have we got any clarity on that just yet, or not quite?
Actually, the religious leaders, the Tibetan Buddhist religious leader, which was held for last 2-3 days back, and they have passed the resolutions in support of His Holiness statement in the inaugurations of the Tibetan Buddhist Religious Leaders Conference, the 15th Religious Conference, for the future of the Ganden Potang and the future of the Dalai Lama's, the legacy. So on the basis of that, they had also passed the resolution. And even then, not only the Tibetan religious, the spiritual leaders, but in the meeting, there is also the Himalayan regions, many, the highly spiritual Tulgus and Lamas, and then the Khenpos were also participated. They also made the supports, and on the basis of the His Holiness Dalai Lama's the statement, and then the convention's resolutions, they also made the favor of the resolutions, and they also held a press conference in Dharamsala yesterday. So therefore, not only the Tibetan and Himalayan regions, entire the followers of the His Holiness Dalai Lama, global level, inside Tibet, inside China, and then the non-Tibetans from the global level also support it, and very much happy and appreciate the His Holiness Dalai Lama's statement and the resolutions of the spiritual Guru Lamas, the conventions, and the Central Tibetan administrations, the religious department, they have organized that conference. So therefore, this is I think everyone is happy. Today I'm in Delhi, I have attended 3 programs. All the programs, I think, not only the organized by the Tibetans, here in the Tibet House programs, the evening, 90% is Delhi, the Indian, the participated the program, and young and senior and intellectuals and scholars and researchers, they are very much happy to celebrate His Holiness Dalai Lama, but 90th birthday. So therefore, from the Tibetan, the children to the aged are very much happy. Therefore, really, I am very much say long life His Holiness Dalai Lama. Thanks to the His Holiness Dalai Lama's statement, which has given a written statement. Although I have already been several times,
yes,
several conferences organized by myself,
okay,
when I was a deputy speaker.
Okay, I believe Tenzin Sunju is back with us now on the broadcast. Let me quickly draw back in Tenzin Sunju. Tenzin, if you can finally hear me now, please go ahead. I believe we have managed to fix your audio. Tenzin, are you there with us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, please go ahead now.
Yeah, I was saying, see, talking peace and non-violence is very easy, but walking that path is difficult. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama has been doing that for 90 years in his life. And therefore, today we have among us someone who is not just Tibetan or Buddhist, someone who is facing life-threatening case when he is fighting for the freedom of his country, that too challenged by none other than China, even then he keeps telling us, training us to think about the very idea of freedom. His Holiness says that when we are talking about freedom, it's not just the political freedom on the outside. His Holiness says, where is your joy on the inside? And true happiness comes not because you have a lot of money or weapons or political power, but your capacity to patience and kindness. These are true meanings that are universal. So the message that His Holiness Dalai Lama gave today on his birthday of compassion is a universal one. And therefore, I feel, even as a Tibetan, although I'm very attached to him as our Tibetan leader, but I now feel that His Holiness the Dalai Lama is truly global. His messages of kindness and compassion is easily practicable even in the worst period of time or in period of comfort and luxury too. So therefore, he has brought together this message. So therefore, today in the world, everywhere, if there is one single person who is universally loved, respected, and revered, it's His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And I'm proud that I, as a small-time activist, am working directly under his orders.
What stood out for you in his address
leadership.
today, Tenzin? What stood out for you in his address, the message that he gave in his speech today? Also, what do you make of the kind of global leaders' wishes that have come in? Also, the presence, of course, of Union Minister Kiren Rijiju there. Does this, show us the global standing of the Dalai Lama? Of course, there's something that China does not like, does not want, but still, reality is there for all to see.
Definitely, the standing of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, not only as a spiritual leader and also a Tibetan leader, but as a statesman. When President Obama says, that here is a man who is younger, who is the youngest 90, this truly shows it's not about the age, that the youthful zest and the ideas of reform and the liberalism with which he practiced in his life and propagated that around the world of universal brotherhood and religious harmony. These are things that are universal and everybody would love it and carry it. And it is saying it when his own country is under foreign occupation. And he tells us China is not enemy. China is our teacher. China tests our patience. China is testing our love and compassion. Therefore, we must stand up to the occasion and therefore be and truly practice karuna when you are in the most difficult period. At that time, kindness is truly the one that comes with you and stands with you. It shows your path, and then this is the life that you make. So therefore, in the Tibetan freedom struggle, which has been going on for 75 years, ours is truly a meaningful, non-violent freedom struggle. And we always look up to Mahatma Gandhi ji, who laid the path, a practical path. And therefore, I often say that I keep my Buddha in my heart and function with Gandhi from my head. So this is truly a joyous moment when we are celebrating 90 years of His Holiness the Dalai Lama.
All right. Yes, it certainly is. Of course, let me, draw back in Dr. Tenzin also at this point. Dr. Tenzin, as far as now, the way forward for the Dalai Lama is concerned, what do you believe could possibly be the succession plan? Also, how do we ensure that this succession plan is not hijacked by China, like they tried to do with the Panchen Lama earlier?
So basically, as always been, repeatedly has been saying, told, or mentioned by most of the supporters of His Holiness Dalai Lama, that the succession, the reincarnation, the authority lies with the Tibetans, with the traditional, spiritual body of Tibetans, and there should not be any political interferences, right? So, there's a big organization called Indian Himalayan Council for Nalanda Buddhist Tradition, which is a very powerful and very strong, network of Buddhist of Indian Himalayas. So they have also passed a resolution stating the same, that there should not be any kind of political interferences, especially from the Chinese government. Now, as far as how it will go, I think that time will only tell. Yeah.
Okay, Tenzin, let me draw you back in here, Tenzin Pasang, on, of course, the Dalai Lama now. Let's just talk a bit about his life story. Firstly, what was the message you took away from his address today? And also for those of our viewers watching, what has inspired you the most about his life story till now?
In today's address, His Holiness the Dalai Lama said that all his life he has worked for other, and that in my school, our school motto is other before self, and that is what he said today in his address, and that touched me because it was I could feel that he said it from his heart, and from my childhood, from my schooling, we've been taught the same, and he also said that the best he not only today, like for all the time, he always says the best gift for his life is the kindness. If we have to be kind and compassionate by true heart, that will be the best gift for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And I also believe that following his legacy and following his footsteps and following his full commitment, I think that will be the best that I could contribute and go on the way that His Holiness has always wished us to do. Yes.
Absolutely. Dr. Tenzin, what stands out the most in the Dalai Lama's life for you?
See, as far as I'm concerned, we have always seen, time and again that, we have been living into a kind of, conflicting and, violent world. And today is not a different case. We have Russia, Ukraine, we have many parts of the world, into a huge hue and cry, Israel-Palestine issue. So in this kind of situation, I think as Sundula mentioned before, that only one person who can actually, stand true for living a non-violent and love and compassion, then I think it is none other than His Holiness Dalai Lama. So in that sense, I think his messages, his being present here with all of us is very fortunate, and we should always cherish that such individuals, such personality exist among us, Yeah.
Okay. Tenzin, what about the succession plan of the Dalai Lama? By when do you expect that to be fructified? Has any progress been made this week?
I think the most important progress we have seen is just the very fact of the declaration that there will be 15th Dalai Lama. His Holiness the Dalai Lama had earlier said if it is not needed, they will not be 15th. And because of overwhelming prayers, pleading and requests from His Holiness the Dalai Lama's followers all around the world, not only from Tibetans, he agreed, and therefore the 2nd of July, the Dalai Lama's declaration that there will be 15th is the first important step. Now, how this is going to pan out, who will be, how will it come about in front of people, that purely the Ganden Potang had been given the responsibility. But then His Holiness the Dalai Lama was very, very categorical in the conclusion of his remark, where he said only the Ganden Potang Trust will carry out this search process, and no other party or anyone will have any authority. That is a binding declaration. Now we need to see how this is going to pan out. Will it be, for example, the reincarnation after
yes,
the passing away of His Holiness, or maybe a Made Tulku, which is also an important traditional and religious process, where His Holiness the Dalai Lama may choose a boy to whom he may transfer the body, the speech and the wisdom. This is also, and then there is also the third process, which is called emanation, where maybe a young adult may be transmitted his speech and wisdom, and the body may change later. So these are three important aspects.
All right. And there has been progress, as you said, that has been made this week with that declaration. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us on this broadcast.